John chapter 6, verse 1 reads, "After these things, Jesus went over the sea, which is the Sea of Tiberias. Then a great multitude followed him because they saw his signs, which he performed on those who were diseased. And Jesus went up on the mountain, and there he sat with his disciples. Now the Passover, the feast of the Jews, was near. Then Jesus lifted up his eyes, seeing a great multitude coming toward him. He said to Philip, 'Where shall we buy bread that these may eat?' But this he said to test him, for he himself knew what he would do. Philip answered him, 200 denarii worth of bread is not sufficient for them, that every one of them may have a little." One of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, said to him, "There is a lad here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 small fish, but what are they among so many?" Then Jesus says, "Make the people sit down." Now there was much grass in the place, so the men sat down, in number about 5,000. Listen, look at your neighbor and say, would you give Jesus something to work with? There's 5,000 men, not to mention women and children here. Jesus has a heart for them to receive and to be fed. And he says to his disciple, "Hey, dude, I need for you to go and work something out so I can feed these people." The text says that Jesus already knew what was going to happen. So there is a little boy Andrew finds, and this little boy has a very small amount of food. After all, he's a little boy. It was just enough for him. Somewhere between the need, there was a place of obedience and a place of willingness. Look at your neighbor and say, willingness. The little boy was willing. Now, one could think that the disciple strong-armed the little boy and said, "Hey, give me your lunch." I don't necessarily think it went that way. I believe that as he asked, "Hey, can we give this to Jesus because we need to feed these people?" Even though the little boy did not understand what his contribution could do at the time, he was still willing to give it. All Jesus needed was something to work with. I thought it interesting that the text said, "Sit the people down." Now the place that they were in, the text says, where was it? Go back up a little bit. There it is. Now there was much grass in the place. Do you know what that means? That means where they were standing was a place of fertility. It was fertile ground. At the place of fertility, a miracle happened. Can I say to you today at offering, if you would give Jesus something to work with, this is a fertile place. This is a fertile place. And many people can be blessed, multiplied. If you keep reading, the text says everybody had as much as they wanted, John's text says. Jesus says, go pick up the fragments. Watch it. And he said, pick up the fragments. The Bible says, and the number of baskets they picked up were 12. They picked up 12 baskets. 12 is the number of government. At the place of giving, at the place of fertility, left us with a place where we running something. We're in control now. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Remember, we're positioning ourselves to reign. What was left over was 12 baskets. That's important. Because at the place where we're willing to give, at the place of fertility, there is a place of abundance that leaves you in a place of reigning. Are you hearing what I'm saying to you? I want to challenge you today to be faithful with your finances. Give the tithe that's already belonging to God, for the tithe is holy. But there is an offering beyond that we say to God, we appreciate what you do. So beyond my tithe, which is already yours, I want to offer something from me. I want to give you something to work with. Let me tell you something. You never know how God is going to bring that back into your life. You never know. Okay? And I know people say if you sow money, you reap money. Sometimes what you reap is better than money. You hear what I'm saying? And I mean, I get that principle, but the point is you want to put something in the ground so Jesus will have something to work with that'll bring it up in your life, because you never know. You never know. And I'm living these days where I'm just trusting God for the seed that I have in the ground. Because sometimes it's one of those daily bread kind of situations in life. You understand what I'm saying? You wake up in the morning and the cupboards are bare, and you're like, okay, Lord, at some point, something's going to come up in this day that's going to meet every need, because you are the great need meter. Not only that, I work well with you. We co-labor together. I put stuff in the ground. You increase it and bring it up in my life. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And I'm encouraging you today to do that, so at the point of need, a miracle can jump off in your life.